Hi YouTube, I just wanted to put together a quick video. The question that I'm asking is, are preppers causing price distortions within the silver market, with junk silver in particular? That's what we're going to discuss here. You know, if you can actually recognize a price distortion or get ahead of it, you can actually make yourself quite a bit of money if you're a trader, or you can actually save yourself some money. A couple of recent events, the JP Morgan London whale trader during the height of the European financial crisis, right? They took they made some outsized bets on credit default swaps. And the side of the story that I was fascinated by was the people that took the other side of the trade, that recognized that there was a price distortion within the credit default swap market, took the other side, and ended up squeezing the whale until they had to capitulate. With silver, we saw a similar story, not to that extreme, obviously, but in January, when the U.S. Mint had to suspend sales, the premiums rose because there was a perceived scarcity of 2013 Eagles. Well, we know that it was a blank shortage that caused the U.S. Mint to suspend sales, right? And that's different than a silver shortage. We know that. So anybody that actually paid the higher premium on those Eagles ended up throwing money away, because when the market normalized, the premiums came down again. Okay, so that extra $2 an ounce over spot that you were paying for an American Eagle was basically gone. So at that time, your responsibility, your job as a silver stacker or silver investor was to find an alternate silver that had less of a premium. Well, right now, with junk silver, I am seeing really large premiums. My local coin shop used to sell junk silver for spot. Now it's $5 an ounce over spot. That is a huge premium, and one that at this time I'm not willing to pay. What I need to decide is this the new normal? Right? Is that large of a premium the new normal for junk silver? Something that could always be had for spot is now $5 an ounce over spot. Now let me also preface this by saying some of you guys are going to come on here and say, I have a guy that still sells it to me for spot. All I can tell you is, if that's the case, do yourself a favor and buy everything that you can, okay? Because it's not normal right now. If you're looking at the junk silver market all across the country, that is not the norm, and you will be doing yourself a disservice by not taking advantage of that. Now, if you're being asked to pay a large premium, that's a different story, right? We need to see if this is the new normal. At some point, and I don't know when that'll be, junk silver will certainly trade for a premium. Is that today? I don't know. When it first starts to happen, as it has, I don't want to be the first guy out there overpaying for it. Because just like the people that were overpaying for the silver Eagles, who knows? The premiums may come down to normal. If silver jumps back up over 30, you may see the junk silver kind of flooding back onto the market again, and the premiums would shrink. I don't think it's going to happen quite like that. What I'm saying is it's a possibility. So you kind of have to wait it out, or hold your nose and pay the premiums. So what role are preppers playing in this? Understand, with junk silver, guys, the stuff hasn't been made in 50 years, right? So there's certainly a limited amount. There's a fixed amount. And that fixed amount is actually, it's not actually fixed. It's actually shrinking because of the melts. We talk about the melts of the 70s, right, with the Hunt brothers. We talk about the melts from the 60s when they demonetized silver. Well, one thing that you have to think about as well is silver was always getting melted down, okay? Your mercury dimes could, in fact, be made from old barber quarters and barber halves and everything else. As the silver coins wore down, the banks would send them in and they'd get remelted down. So that's always been happening. And certainly today, it still happens today. So what happens when a growing movement, right, the prepper movement, comes into a market and their numbers slowly grow, and they come up with a currency, a money that fits all of their needs, right? They're looking for something that's easily divisible. What's more easily divisible than a Franklin half and 5 mercury dimes? They're looking for something recognizable, and that's key, right? And what's more recognizable in America than old American coins? And they're looking for something in small denominations. Okay, who wants to make change when you have to purchase something in a time of barter? Now, with preppers, let me just say this. I listen to every word that these guys say, okay? Some of my favorites are Veritas Files, who's been with me since just about the very beginning of my channel. I really enjoy. He doesn't do many prepping videos anymore, but I'll go through and watch some of his older ones. The Lord Humongous, who I just think is absolutely hysterical, really smart young guy with just an absolute razor sharp wit, and I love his videos. I challenge you to watch one of his videos and not crack up at least once. And the Patriot Nurse is also fantastic. I listen to every word that they say. Am I a prepper? I'm not. But you know what? I know that they're giving me knowledge that could save my bacon someday. It's really hard to look at the world today and see the times that the supply chain was disrupted and not think, I want to protect my family from a similar event. It's usually because of storms, right? We saw it during Katrina, we saw it during Sandy and Irene. To a lesser extent, Irene affected my local area. Vermont was affected by that storm, and people were cut off, and the supply chains were cut off. And it's really horrific. So if you think about what would happen if it was a national crisis and it was due to the currency, you can see why, a prepper would be compelled to make sure that they safeguard themselves against it. I was looking up numbers for preppers in anticipation of doing this video, because I've been thinking about it for a while, the role that preppers are playing in silver. I just feel like it's such an underrated piece of the story. And the number that kept popping up was 3 million, and that honestly sounds pretty high to me. But there's no way to know, because there's certainly not a little box on the census form that says that you're a prepper. But my point is, the movement is certainly growing. We see it on YouTube. There's a lot of like-minded individuals that want to insure themselves. And what they're doing is they're buying up a ton of the old junk silver. So is this real, or is it a short-term phenomenon? Well, I tell you what, there's no stronger hand than that of a prepper. Okay, they're not investing in silver. They're stockpiling silver in the event of a financial collapse. So when this goes away, when a prepper buys this, it's gone. It's gone from the market, guys. Veritas Files, if you get a hold of this Franklin half, is not selling it. When the Lord Humongous gets a hold of those Barber dimes, they're gone from the market until the event that they anticipate happening happens. And with the dwindling amount of junk silver, I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting to see when that large of a group of people come into a market that's this small, it causes price distortions. I'm really curious what you guys think.